Osiris.
Hey everybody, it's Sunday, March 24th. I am here to do a quick intro and to give you an interview that I did a couple days ago with Eggy at the Ardmore Music Hall. We had a great conversation about their music, their path. We did a pretty fun draft that I put together, which you can find out more about in just a minute. I will tell you that a few other things going on. We just launched a new podcast called The Jam with Jonathan Shank. He's a longtime music industry friend, and he has 2 episodes out so far. Dean Budnick, editor-in-chief of Relics, and then Randy Jackson. There's a new episode every week. We have 10 episodes coming out this season, then we'll take a little break and come back with another season. It's really the show Jonathan wanted to start it to kind of explore the evolution of music, but also the jam scene. That's why it's called The Jam. Through conversations with these industry icons and artists. I mean, the Randy Jackson interview is great. The conversation with Dean is great. There's one coming out this week with Bill Payne of Little Feat, and we have a bunch more artists that he's interviewing for this season. So you should check that out, subscribe, review, all that. We have new episodes of HF Pod, of course. We are rolling through our top 25 tours of all time. Super fun. We're having a blast, and hope you've been able to check out that series. And then, of course, we always have awesome music content. We have No Simple Road, Wheels Off. We have The Corner of Gray Street talking about the Dave Matthews Band. We have 2 new podcasts, Rootsland, which is a kind of a personal journey, reggae music exploration from Jamaica. Really cool perspective from Henry, the host there. Discograffiti is a new podcast that we've added, which goes deep into the catalogs of so many artists. And the Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas series just started, so you might want to check that out. Cam Hurt, best show ever. He's putting out episodes every week. Really fun, really great interviews. And of course, John Barber is bringing us touchdowns all day. The Disco Biscuits kicking ass out there. And you can check out new episodes of that as well. So check out osirispod.com for all of that. But I'm going to get into this conversation that I had with Eggy. I love these guys. Their music is so good. They're really, really on an amazing ride. They sold out the Ardmore Music Hall, sold out the Brooklyn Bowl last night. And they're going to continue to do great things. They have a new album coming out later this year. So keep your eyes on them and check out this interview. And I will talk to y'all soon. Thanks. Hey, everybody. How's it going? It's a little hot. Hey guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you there are people streaming. Everyone say hi to the people streaming at home. I'm RJ from Osiris. We are going to have a quick conversation with these guys. I just first want to say thank you to the Ardmore Music Hall. If you've been here before, or if you're streaming and you haven't been here before, you should come here. The people here are amazing, and they always take good care of us, and they always, are open to us doing really fun stuff like this. So thank you, and make sure you tip your bartenders and stuff like that. But thank you to the team for helping to put this together. I also want to thank Iron Hill Brewery for being a sponsor of this event. They're over there in the corner. They're going to be sampling some beers, so if you want to taste some of Iron Hill's beers, local company, great beer. I think that's it. I guess I'll just bring these guys out here. Does that sound good to everybody? All right. Please join me in welcoming Eggy to the stage. So, guys, the last time that we did an interview, I think was this is like sort of like an interrogation the way we're set up here. So
I didn't do it.
Yeah. I think the last time we did an interview was the Relics studio, a few minutes before you guys did the set, which was just released on vinyl yesterday. I think it's.
That's right.
So I don't know if they're sold out yet, but I think you can go to relics.com and you can find that vinyl. That was an awesome day, but we haven't had a chance to catch up formally since then. You guys, the past 4 shows over the past 2 weeks, 2 nights at Nectar, sold out. Last night in DC, sold out. We're sold out here tonight in Ardmore. Congrats. Congrats on the growth. And I just wanted to start by asking, like, how is it being back on the road and selling out these venues, and how are you guys managing that with, I know you've been working on a new album, you have to like maintain your sanity. How do you prepare for shows like this and write music and get ready to release stuff and answer people on Instagram and do all the stuff you guys do so well?
Well, to answer part of the question, it's amazing being back here at Ardmore. It's amazing playing some of these other venues where last time we were here, we were opening for the Motet. And to be headlining here for the first time and sell it out is pretty wild.
Amazing. It's amazing.
But these shows have been so much fun. It's cool to do things like at Nectar's where we do 2 nights, get to just keep everything on stage and show up the next day like, oh, look, all of our stuff's set up, which hopefully we'll be doing more and more of those as the years goes on. But yeah, it's been great.
So just picking up on that, I appreciate that question a lot because it's the kind of stuff that we sort of need to be asking ourselves regularly, like keeping in check with where we are on our journey and not taking any of it for granted. I'm really grateful for the sort of slow burn that this band has been in a lot of ways of like, been doing this for, the better half of my life now. From the earliest days with Jake, just like even back in high school, to living out our dreams right now and like recognizing that moments like these are stuff that we would be like dreaming of as when we were kids, basically. Still feel like a kid in a lot of ways, but continuing to like reassess and look at past mistakes and successes on the road and in our own growth, and constantly checking in with ourselves to be able to say, if it's in the reference to how do you prepare for a tour, how do you continue to balance that with writing new music. It's kind of always just about checking in with ourselves, checking in with one another, listening back to what we're doing, making sure that what we're putting out on stage, putting out on the internet, putting out as releases are things that we're excited about, proud of, and that we're consistently not resting upon our laurels of things that we've done and continually trying to use everything as fuel to say, well, this was really cool and how can we make that better, and trying new things in the spirit of our whole improv scene at large, just trying new things and maybe fall flat, but maybe it becomes like the best part of everything is the risk that you take.
And, as things are growing, things are ever changing. Every day we have different responsibilities, and something that maybe we did 6 months ago, we have to look back on and say, oh, this is not how we can keep doing this. And I think as things continue to grow, we're going to continue to be reassessing, and it's a crazy experience knowing how different things were maybe even 6 months ago, and trying to juggle all these different things. It's different every single day. So we have to keep on our toes and keep on each other and make sure everything's working.
How does it feel to be like, you've played a bunch of shows in Philly, and it does seem like you're, like basically what you aspire to as a band is to work your way up. You open, you play smaller venues, and then you get to the venue where you opened, and now you're headlining. Like, what does it feel like coming into a room like this today and knowing that you guys, a year ago probably like wouldn't have happened, and today you're like headlining? I mean, are you able to take a moment and be like proud and happy, or are you like so busy with thinking about the next thing that do you try to create moments like that, and is it possible?
I'm remembering now when you asked that of the first time we've played in like the Philly greater area. We played in Wayne, Pennsylvania, and I remember it was like one of the first like tours that we ever did, and it was like winter. It was so cold and I had this old keyboard that when it was too cold, it wouldn't turn on. So I remember like we like piled into like this restaurant or something, and for like the first 30 minutes of the show, my keyboard wouldn't work, and then the fire alarm went off, and so
I don't remember any of that.
No, that was my other band then. So it's been an awesome journey, and it's always great to recognize where you've been, so you can know at least some of the direction in which you want to keep going.
What about you, Jake? Also, Jake, I've seen you do a bunch of interviews recently, so you're adding that onto everything else.
Yeah, I think it's important to always stop, and you don't necessarily have to do it for too long, but I think it's important to be present in all of your moments, and sometimes taking in the full experience. Yeah, you can kind of just keep moving, and luckily we have the opportunity to do what we do with people that we love and have been through it since the beginning and have been friends, and so I'm constantly looking at these guys as a reflection of, it's hard not to think about the past. It's hard not to think of all the things that we've gone through and all the things that we'll continue to do together, and to see the crowds grow and just to get to know some of you guys, and we feel so grateful. It's you'd have to close your eyes to not find a moment of gratitude and reflection. So it's been amazing.
When you guys are prepping for a show like this, I'm always like fascinated by pre-show routines. Do you guys have like a thing that you do before the show, like from soundcheck onward, or are you like today? You guys have just been kind of hanging out, eating, chatting. Like, do you have a thing that you do every show that helps each of you individually or as a group like get in the mindset to play?
We've been trying to remember to practice.
Like, oh yeah, there is a whole hour plus between sound check and when we play, or that we could be playing our instruments.
Yeah, so that's something we've been working on.
We like to listen to the song Yams by Masego before we get on.
That pumped us up.
We carry a speaker with us on tour specifically for that song.
That's the only song.
I was gonna say it's actually the only time that speaker ever gets used is for like 3 minutes of listening to that song before we go.
It's like a $200 speaker
I
just
gotta
for
that.
that.
We'll get you in on that later.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I gotta say also, I have a strict rule against wearing merch of the band while I'm on stage interviewing them, but I made an exception because this sweatshirt is fucking amazing. So
Show everybody.
Now spin around.
So make sure you visit the merch table over there. It's really cool. Like, you guys are coming out with a bunch of new stuff, I think every few months, which is awesome. Has there been anything over the past few months, tour-wise, any mishaps or successes, like any good stories from the past couple months of touring and road trip? You were on boats, you were driving.
Well, this actually reminds me of the last time we were here. We were on the road, and the night before, our van broke down. And we had to scramble to switch into a rental Sprinter van and fill up our trailer with all our stuff and make it to the show here. We were opening for the Motet.
Can I butt in for a second?
Yeah.
This would have been the second time that this van broke down.
As many
We
weeks.
had just gotten the van back from the mechanic who had it for many, many months. And it was it was day 2 of
The van was filling with smoke.
that seems bad.
And it was pouring rain, and we had to stop, and we were just sitting in the rain staring at this van full of smoke. And we were just like, what are we gonna do? But we did. We managed to find a rental and get it all in here and
Got our
and
trailer on the rental.
hooked up our trailer to the rental, and then we're driving around. I say we. I was driving the van, and the streets are really narrow around here.
We were actually going to an auto parts store so we can hook up our trailer.
Oh yeah,
The
yes.
lights.
We went to the auto parts store to fix something that was already broken again, and yeah, again, the streets are really narrow here. It's not just me, right? And I was driving and I kind of hopped on a curb a little bit and broke the trailer. And so,
It's really broken.
And also pouring rain that day too.
Yes.
And so now I'm driving a couple miles away with a broken trailer, like we're grinding metal. And we got here, we played the show, and then we had to figure out somehow to get as much stuff as we could possibly fit from our trailer into the back of this Sprinter van, again, in the pouring rain. And that was quite an exciting endeavor. So
We left the organ at Ed, the sound guy's house. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
yeah, we left the organ in his garage for a couple weeks, and thank you for that. That was very needed. We wanted to make sure we didn't scratch your car. You have a really nice car in there. We were really nervous about that.
Man, I feel like there's someone who rents or sells like really almost broken down vans to bands. Like
I think
who
everybody
is that
that
guy?
sells
It's
a van to a band.
Like every
it's
band
really
has
broken.
that story, right? Like why are they always breaking down?
It actually, a couple weeks ago, the door fell off on our van.
Oh, yeah.
And it was also pouring rain. So don't drive in the rain.
Yeah, stay home.
And
Unless we're playing, then
unless it's
yeah.
coming to our
like the back sliding door, like literally just fell off.
What about the boat? You guys were on a boat recently,
We were
right? How was that experience?
Logistically, it was great. Nothing broke down at all.
Well, thankfully they didn't let me drive the boat, so nothing went wrong.
And it didn't rain the whole time, so we were good.
I've never been on Jam Cruise, but I hear it's like pretty crazy. Like there's music all the time, and you can probably, if you guys, you could be playing or listening to music pretty much any time. Like how do you approach that, and what was it like?
It was honestly an insane experience. It's similar to a lot of different things that we've done. You know, it's similar to a music festival. It's similar to shows. I've been on a cruise once before, but not like that. But it's like, as a whole, it's unlike anything we've ever done. And everybody is in there. Everybody's in the same area the whole time. You're just on this boat with the same however many thousand people for 5 days. And you don't know what time it is. You don't know, like, I think we probably had an average bedtime of like 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah, you only became aware of the time when you were like,
When the music
we have
stops
to
at
go to bed.
5:30.
But then all of a sudden there'd be some random jam session going
Yeah.
on. There's always something going on. Music in the elevator.
Yeah, a whole band in the elevator.
But even with Jam Cruise, we had always wanted to go, even as attendees. And as soon as we got on the boat, we were like listening to the speaker. We were like, "Is this us?" And probably
throughout
for
the whole hall-
probably
all
for
the
like
hallways.
6 hours a day, they were playing this one live album that we have. And
Every time I got out
Is
of
that just to fuck with you guys?
it really seemed like it. Every single time I got out of my room, I was like, "This again?"
It was like the first 6 hours of being on the boat. It was just Eggy on the speakers.
but it was really cool.
What about the collaborations? I just feel like it's like mostly jamming. Did you come back from that feeling like you got to, I don't know, collaborate with new people or come away with anything new musically?
Definitely. I got to play with Everyone Orchestra, and that was really cool. We played in the theater, and Ivan Neville was up there. Brownie was playing, Nikki Gillespie, Mikey Karuba. It was Dwayne Betts. It was a really cool cast of players, and we also did the jam room with Brownie, and just a bunch of people coming up. Charlie Tuna, which was so cool, and definitely left there because we play a lot together, and so it was really cool to get the opportunity to play with other people and kind of reacquaint what that feeling is like, because at one point we had to kind of figure out how to get a vibe together and how to get a sound together, and on Jam Cruise it was just so much music happening, and kind of trying to find your place in the whole thing was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and we also had the pleasure of having Corey Wong sit in for a song, and Chuck from Mo sat in with us. I think it was being our first year on Jam Cruise. I think there's definitely a learning to figure out, all right, when can I interject myself into some of these jams, and maybe feeling a little timid sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think if we have the pleasure to do that again, which I hope we will, I think we'll find our way to sneak into maybe a couple more jam sessions.
Nice. That's awesome. There's a new album that is coming out this year. Is it done? Is it where?
Oh, it's done.
It's done. When is it coming out?
So oh, can we answer that question? Not really, right?
It's not really confirmed.
Later?
It's coming out.
It's coming out.
Coming
Sure.
out.
I almost blew it.
I can promise you
Sorry,
it will.
guys.
Okay.
It will be out.
I should also say thanks to Dan, who helped put this together, who manages Eggy, and I'm glad, he's probably glad that you didn't answer that question, Jake, but thank you, Dan.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. So when is it coming out? What was the process like for putting it together in terms of songs and how you recorded? What was that process like?
Well, we could do.
Harmonized.
Well, we were thinking we would do. We recorded the album in Pasadena, California. We were in James Petrali, the singer-songwriter from White Denim. He produced the record over in Pasadena, and we had kind of we had been a fan of his for a little while, and we had actually linked up randomly after seeing them in Fairfield, Connecticut, and just met after the show. Ended up just going out for like beer and pizza afterwards, and started that relationship, and sent him a couple of songs just to be like, hey, here's some stuff we had done. One thing led to another, and we're in this studio in Pasadena for 3 weeks straight. It's like a 1-bedroom Airbnb. Jake and I shared a bed for 3 weeks. Mike slept on the couch, and Alex slept on the couch in the studio. So we were just like lived and breathed this album 3 weeks straight. I mean, we played a couple of shows while we were out in California, but for the most part, we just saw the like 3-block radius around it, like the Starbucks, the sandwich shop, and the other coffee shop.
You gotta mix it up.
You gotta mix it up. Some days you want to go to Lavender and Honey, and some days you go to Starbucks.
Sandwiches by Connell.
Yeah, and once we had the time put aside, there was a lot of pre-production stuff in terms of the writing. We would record a bunch of demos, get on FaceTime, and just kind of pick apart the lyrics. And it was a new process for us as guys who are just used to playing stuff live for the first time. We wanted to make a record that was stuff that we had never performed live before. And so it was a very new and fun experience in that way, that like there was the only model that we had to base the record off of was the demos that we made, nothing that we had done in terms of performance.
How do you decide when you're going through that? Like, is who sings related to who wrote it, or who brings which ideas, or is it just like how does that work? Because you guys all sing, so like how do you decide, and how does that process work?
Well, Alex is singing lead on all of the songs on the album.
Awesome.
And for me as a songwriter, it was actually like a liberating experience because I don't have to worry about if this is in my range. I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pull it off or if it's too technical for what I can do. And so having Alex to be able to sing the stuff made writing the songs so much more fun. And I mean, I remember even being in the studio and being encouraged, you should get a song. I was like, all right, I'll try it. And then I did a couple of takes. Definitely not. So it made the experience a lot of fun because it made anything seem possible.
It's an honor for me to, sing these amazing songs that my best friends wrote. Like I found my own ways of contributing to the album in obviously the singing and the playing the drums, but within the kind of arrangements and production, and along with James engineering a lot of it. I'm very familiar with Pro Tools and being in a studio and stuff, so I was engineering a lot of it, and it was really cool because he gave us the opportunity, because he doesn't actually live in the studio. It is a house, but he...
Well, it's only one bedroom. So.
Yeah, that'd be very difficult. But he gave us the luxury of still being able to use all of the equipment even when he left. So we would spend every night till 2, 3 a.m. just recording and just diving into the songs even more, and
Nice.
It was incredible.
He actually had a neighbor, so this was the first time that he had ever had a band come by, and one day we're just in the studio, it's probably 2 p.m, we just hear such loud EDM music playing.
Dubstep.
And it was going on and on. We're like, this is the same song over and over and over again, right?
For 2 hours.
And we open up the window, and he has a speaker facing outside towards the studio.
Out his window, pointed
At
towards us.
us, just to be clearly very unhappy
Yeah.
with whatever we were doing. And it just made it that much more special.
You guys gotta send him an album. When it comes out.
I don't think he wants to hear from us at all.
He's already heard it.
The small interactions that we did have with him were not fruitful.
Maybe he was he working on Jam Cruise? Was he the one playing your live album?
It's like, this is my revenge.
That's really cool. That sounds like a great experience. I remember seeing videos of you guys with James. It looked awesome. That's really cool, and cool how connections that you make just end up turning into something like that. That's really awesome. I wanted to ask you guys just about the improv and the way you've been playing. The way I hear it, I feel like your sound has really changed a lot over the past year. I hear a lot more space, a lot more patience. It just feels like there's a lot more space in the jamming, and I'm curious. It could just be me, but I'm curious if you guys hear that or how you think your sound has evolved over the past year or so. Because I feel like it sounds a lot different than it did a year ago. And if none of you guys agree, that's fine. We can move on. But,
It's hard sometimes to realize how much things change, because for us, I think it feels very incremental. But we do try to, at the end of shows or at the end of runs, talk about things that maybe are working, or more importantly, the things that aren't working, and trying to be critical and attentive to the things that we do want to see change. And I hope that if we do this again next year, that you have the same thing to say, that things are different a year from now too, as we keep evolving, and after a bunch of shows, hopefully things do start to change, and we do hopefully a better job every single time.
Yeah, I think that I was actually talking with my friend Mark, who's somewhere here today, but just it's interesting with improvising because you can romanticize the experience of that you're just in this flow state the whole time and you're not thinking about anything, you're just deep into the music. And I think that that's a special part of the show that we can all tap into, hopefully. But it's a weird line of getting comfortable with one another, but then also really wanting to push the music forward, which comes from discomfort. To be vulnerable kind of means that you feel exposed and you feel like you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. And I think that that's something that sounds good on paper, but I think that actually going through it and trying to push the music into places where you don't know what the outcome is going to be, and to really try and discover in real time with each other and with all of you, I think that there's a weird balance between wanting to achieve that bliss, that patience, that just free place, while also wanting to insert yourself and trying to do something different and almost set out for failure, try and mess up, be like, how can I put us in an uncomfortable spot that now we have to dig ourselves out of? And that's where maybe something that's uncomfortable last tour is now starting to feel good. And I think that we have a habit of every time, even something that we've tried to do a lot and talked about a lot, suddenly it's not as interesting anymore. It's like, oh, we gotta start messing up again. So I think right now we are in a cool spot where some of those things that we had been talking about are now starting to come to fruition and start to feel more possible. So I do think I think the patience is really just trust. I mean, I can feel on my end maybe feeling like I'm hearing something happening, and maybe in times past wanting to see something happen a certain way, and just having more faith and more trust that even if it goes a different way, that's what makes it exciting.
So it's not necessarily an intentional effort on that front. It's just continuing to listen and trust and evolve, it sounds like.
Yeah, just growing together and knowing that we're all in it together and we all want to see something special happen, but we also don't want to necessarily know what that is. And I think that that's the weird line that you kind of have to go back and forth, where if it's truly going to be improvised and in the moment, then to know how it's going to surface at all kind of takes away the whole point of the thing.
Yeah. So I always ask people what questions they would have for the band, and one that I got a bunch, so I have to ask it. It's about the album, about the songs, that there are some songs that have been played that aren't included on the live recordings. And curious about how that decision was made, or just what the thinking is, and what the thought process is on that.
Well, I could start by saying I think back to some of my earliest memories of falling in love with music, and it all was centered around discovering an album and listening to something that's from the studio, and the journey of putting on your headphones or being in the car or listening in your room or whatever it is, and just hearing a song for the first time, not knowing how it's going to unfold, and really being invested in what the song is telling you, and not having your own experience that you're kind of interjecting into the song. You're just listening and absorbing and going back to, there's something that happened for 5 seconds in the song, and you're like, oh, I gotta listen to this song again because I gotta hear that part again. And I think that there's something really, really special about being able to hear a song for the first time in that context, before you have all of these kind of expectations from your own experience. I mean, I think playing live music is incredibly special, and I think it's a way that we get to connect with everybody, and the songs take on new meaning, and the songs have a life of their own, and when we play them live, and when ultimately people hear them in the studio, kind of no longer belongs to us in a sense. And it is about finding your own experience. It's finding your own journey and what it means to you. And I think that especially what we get to do live is such a profound experience. And there's so much centered around just going to a show and who you were with and everything, that it's a lot to put on the first time that you listen to a song. And so we spent a lot of time working on the music, and ultimately it will be out of our hands and it won't belong to us anymore. But I think we just wanted to try and touch on some of that experience that is really, really special the first time you connect with an album like that.
I remember actually we had even contemplated at one point though not even performing any of those songs, but that was never gonna happen. We were like just too excited about them. So we compromised at it won't make the live release.
Yeah. Anything else to add on that front? Alex?
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think the point of experiencing music for the first time was mentioning this album, the Waxahachie album that came out today. Like, so many people I know were so excited for, first thing when they woke up, they could hear these songs that they haven't heard yet, that they've been waiting for, I don't know, 3 months or something. I mean, that's something that you can't recreate. So I think it's an interesting thing to try. And like you said, like, try it, and you might do it again, maybe not, but like, I think it's a good thing to try.
Try anything once.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys, the covers are an amazing part of your live show, and I thought instead of asking you guys like, so what is your favorite artist to cover, I thought in the spirit of March Madness and maybe just in the spirit of ranking things, I want to do a covers draft real quick. So I took 12 artists that you guys have covered recently. Not that you've covered the most, but over the past 3 months or so. And we're gonna do a snake draft. So I'm gonna write down a number, and I'm gonna ask you guys to guess a number between 1 and 10. Whoever chooses closest gets to go first. You guys draft these artists, and then when you each have 3 at the end, we're gonna ask the audience to clap to see who wins. So it's based on the loudness of the audience. That's how we decide who wins. You guys ready for that?
I'm ready.
Ready.
Yeah.
Don't let me. I don't want to see the number that you.
Oh no.
I don't want to cheat.
Okay, I'll just make sure that the audience can see it. Okay, there's a number between 1 and 10. Go ahead.
6.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
Too bad.
I'll be 7.
Okay.
3.
Is this Price is Right rules?
2.
Okay.
$1, Bob.
All right, Donnie, you're going first. Mike second. Jake third.
It's always 7.
Alex, you're last.
I wanted the 4-5. I wanted to wrap
Is
around.
it always 7? Maybe it's always 7. All right, so here are the 12 artists: Rush, Elton John, Jerry Garcia, Seal, Big Thief, ABBA, CSNY, King Gizzard, Little Feat, David Bowie, Yes, and the band. I'll pass this around if you guys want, but
The last one was the band.
the band. Do you want to see the list?
No, I think because this is a very arbitrary thing anyway.
Yep.
So I have no idea how this is rated. I'm gonna go with my gut, and with the first overall pick of the covers draft, I select Sir Elton John.
I knew that was going to be your answer. I know it's tough though. It's almost harder when there's so many. I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna have to go with David Bowie.
All right, remember that.
David Bowie.
Jake? This means, Alex, you get 2 picks.
Hey,
'Cause you go
nice.
last
I don't know how
first.
sports
Yeah.
brackets work at all.
Sports.
At least this one.
Sports ball.
I'll go Little Feet.
Okay. All right.
Good pick. So I get 2.
You get 2.
Wow. Seal and Abba. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna go King Gizzard and the Lizard
Okay.
Wizard
Okay.
and Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
All right. That's a see. But no. Now Jake goes again. Oh. Okay. Yeah, we're going back. So you're actually, Donnie. You're going last this round. So.
I'll go with Jerry Garcia.
All right. That's a good choice.
You guys like that guy?
It's a good band.
Yes.
Yes. Now
Yes.
you get 2, Donnie.
I get 2. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to take Seal. And I'm gonna take Seal and I'm gonna take Rush.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
All right. Back to you. Do you know what's left?
I think so.
Okay.
Big Thief.
Okay. All right. There's 2 left. So Alex, you're the band and ABBA.
I have a feeling I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the band. Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted you to say.
All right.
ABBA!
There we go. Okay.
Or is it ABBA?
I don't know. Is it? Does anyone know?
We have any?
ABBA. Okay. Just give me a sec to do this. Okay. So
Some type of fan. You
you had
Yes.
yes. Bowie.
Bowie and Big Thief.
Okay. And one more. You had Rush.
No.
Rush
You had Rush, Elton John,
and Seal.
Seal. All right. Okay. Garcia,
The band and Little
Little Feet. Okay.
Yeah.
And the band.
Checks out.
Okay. Alex had ABBA,
King Gizzard,
King Gizzard, and
Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Okay.
And Young.
You guys ready to vote? Okay, this is very serious, as you can tell. Okay, so let's start over here. We have Big Thief, David Bowie, and yes. Okay, I'm just recapping, just so you know. Big Thief, David Bowie, yes. Rush, Elton John, Seal. Jerry Garcia, Little Feet, the band. ABBA, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young,
King Gizzard.
King Gizzard. Okay, so I'm gonna gauge this applause. We're gonna start back with Becky again. David Bowie, yes. Big Thief.
Timid.
Not looking too good over here.
Timid.
Donnie. Rush, Elton John, Seal. Okay. Jerry Garcia, Little Feet, and the band.
You gotta know your audience, right?
No.
And
I think this is rigged.
I don't know. ABBA, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, King Gizzard. That's pretty close.
Close.
That's pretty close, but I'm gonna have to declare Jake the winner of this draft. Congratulations.
I had $200 riding on this.
There is no prize. Okay, so I've been told we have less than 5 minutes left. What are you guys most excited about for the 2024 ahead? I mean, we're already in April, but you guys have a whole, almost year of music ahead. What are you guys excited about for the summer or just for 2024 in general?
I feel like this is another trick question. You're trying to get us to say something that we're not allowed to say.
No, I swear. Don't say anything you're not supposed to say. That's the caveat.
Isn't it obvious? We're most excited for tonight's show.
Perfect answer. Beyond tonight, is there anything you're excited about?
Tomorrow night's show.
Actually, tomorrow, let's talk about. So tomorrow night's a big show. There's a big celebration. Tell everyone about it. People who are watching on Nugs who might be able to stream tomorrow. What's tomorrow all about?
Tomorrow, tomorrow we are celebrating the holiday of Purim, Jewish holiday. It's basically Jewish Halloween, and we are celebrating it with a party that we're calling Reelin' in the Years, and we will be celebrating with our friends the Funky Dogs, and some other special surprises. We've also got our buddy Uncle Jesse, who will be kicking off the night, spinning his DJ sets. If anyone's been to Fish Mexico, you might have heard him by the pool. Not to get into much more of a history lesson of Purim, so as the way my cousin likes to say it, they tried to kill us, they couldn't, let's eat. It's like that, and we're gonna have a really great time. We have a very special show planned for tomorrow, and doing a Purim show is something that we've wanted to do for a number of years, and we're very excited.
Nice. Awesome.
We have a pop-up event before the show happening at Three's Brewery. A lot of really cool stuff. We have some archival merch, some archival posters, some friends of ours doing some other merch, and Long Strange Putt and Saxy.
Yeah, bringing some of the fan art into the pop-up.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great day in New York tomorrow.
Not bad.
It's rain though.
Is it gonna rain?
Rain.
Don't let me drive the van.
Something's gonna happen.
It rains every time we are in Brooklyn.
It's true.
Anything else you guys want to mention about this year? Just festivals, anything you're looking forward to?
Well, just appreciate being on the journey with all of you guys, and thanks for giving your heart to what we do. And we're excited to see where this all goes together.
Awesome. Thanks again to the Ardmore Music Hall for having us. Make sure you take care of everybody. Thank you to Iron Hill. And thank you guys. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
And stick around and you'll see some Eggy music. Thanks, guys.
Osiris.